right, but like the question I wanted to ask you was, how did you, how did you not go through? What made you not go through with the suicidal thoughts? Because earlier you said part of the PTSD, the drugs, and going through the divorce, you had suicidal thoughts. I think a lot of men have suicidal thoughts, but I don't believe that we speak on. Most people don't even care. I almost feel like people don't really care about if we have suicidal thoughts. You know what I mean? And I almost feel like you're alone when you have that shit. And you got to defeat that shit by yourself. But you're not alone. You have friends and family you can go to. And it's also places you can call to get the help you need. But when you win it, you ain't thinking like that. Because you don't want the help. You know what I mean? Unknowingly. So tell me how you survived it, how you got through it, and how you kicked that shit ass, bro.
Well, it wasn't so intense to where I would grab a weapon or jump in front of a bus. They were there, and I was just more of an observer.
Just a thought.
It's there, but it was
real thoughts.
They're coming in, right? And then in some ways, it would be like these subtle suggestions of what I could do to accomplish it. But then it'll be like, why?
Right.
And going through that conflict, that combat, there's the will to live, finding reasons to live. And then there's plenty of other reasons not to. And of course, having this sort of purgatory type of spirituality, religion, this space where I'm in sort of like purgatory, where I don't fully believe in Christianity anymore, but then I kind of do. It's, if I commit suicide, I'm going to go to hell, and I don't want to go to hell. Like, I had those thoughts too.
Right.
So it's just a whole thunderstorm of thoughts. But a lot of those thoughts were, I don't deserve to live. And they're the same theme. The underlying theme is I don't deserve to live.
Right.
And then walking around with the guilt of living too, because going over there and then surviving that, we call that survivor's guilt. Surviving that and just, maybe I shouldn't be alive.
Right.
So getting past that was just more of a...
Well, let me ask you... No, finish.
Getting past that was more of... being cognizant of my thoughts, because I'm introspective anyways. So I think that was one strength that I had, is I'll have the thoughts, but I knew how to attach to certain ones and how to just observe others. And then I'm resilient too, because I've been through enough already. So it was just mere observation. And then when I have the thoughts, I would challenge some of them until I got to a point where it was, all right, they went away. Now, it's not that they don't ever happen again. Those who have depression, especially, even if you treat your depression, right, because it could be cognitive or it can be emotional, depending on which theoretical orientation you're going to look at it. If you have enough strengths, and I'm saying plural strengths, it could be your artwork, it could be your family, those thoughts start to die down. You develop the framework within yourself to challenge the thoughts. You can have the thought, even entertain it a little bit, but the idea is to not attach to it, because once you cling on to that thought, then
it can become your reality. Right.
So it was merely just, I had that gift of introspection and just observing and not being too attached to them. And then, the reasons to live outweighed the number of reasons to die.
The reasons to live. Most definitely. The re again. My question, the thing is, it's like, do you remember why? Remember? Do you remember why you thought about doing these things? Is it just because of you survivor's remorse? Is it just because of that, or is it that attached with something else? Did it become a combination of things? What I'm trying to say is like this. Did you have all right, I survived some shit my friends didn't survive. Then you start having other things in your mind that you might have survived when you was younger, or this or that. Did it become a bigger ball of reasons?
Not really.
Okay,
No,
okay.
it was mainly just these two core ideas that I survived and that my comrades didn't, even though you know that. It's just like the gang mentality.
Yeah.
To some degree, you expect that all of you aren't going to make it home, but then you also, it's that faith that you know, familiarity. But then there was also, you know, what I did. You know, what I did over there, I wasn't too...
proud of it. Yeah.
And so, again, part of that was the religion. That...
Religion, good.
The belief that if I commit this sin, then
some idiot. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize, y'all.
If I commit this sin, even if the religion says or the belief system says God forgives, right? It's the punishment. And then, I mean, but over time, I revisit those ideas.
Revisit. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, man. How? I revisit those ideas within the religion. I realize, okay.
Realize. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Cause I don't want nobody. Hey, y'all, I want y'all to put re every time y'all watching.
Oh,
put re.
Man,
go in there and put re every time he do it.
I realized that those ideas are just fragments. I didn't fully understand my religion at the time, or at least at that space and time. So just the dichotomy of my morality. I did these bad things, hence I don't deserve to live because I did these bad things.
Okay.
So those were the two primary influences.
Well, when you survive what you survive, it's a question that you might can't even answer, but I want to ask you. Why didn't your mind say at the time, why your mind didn't say, damn, I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky I survived that. That's the question I want to... I know you probably can't go back now, but I want to know why.
Slightly. I remember addressing a question of this nature similar to this on Facebook. One of my comrades who's also struggling with it, right? And I made a post, and just paraphrasing here, as it relates to survivor's guilt, you're attached to your unit. You're attached. It's like when you're...
It's family.
Yes.
Okay.
So you identify with them so strongly that beyond the grave, you feel like you should be with them.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
So that's just a theory. You know, I put that out there to him, but that was something I also realized. Like, why do I feel? And me and my other homeboy, Kevin, his last name Nicholson too. We talk about this type of stuff as well. Just kind of revisiting and just each year trying to understand what did we experience, why did we go through that, and then it also, from an intergenerational perspective, it helps us to understand the Vietnam War veterans, black ones especially, what they went through.
Most definitely.
Right. So that sense of camaraderie, it's I am you and you are me, and as odd as it may seem, being a black man in the military, like the racism is there, but it's not that. It's not. At least from what I've experienced, it's not as thick as it is out here. Because when you're over there, that shit doesn't matter. It's, hey, I need to know, are we good? Because when we go out here, it's us versus them. And if you with them, let me know. And that's in any kind of social conflict.
Football, basketball.
Are you with them or are you with us? Right?
Yeah.
So, but you identify with them. You have experiences together. Even if you don't agree, like your politics are different, but you're in this unit together and you have a mission and you agree to do that mission. So you're just basically fulfilling your sense of duty. And part of your duty is getting along with your peers, getting along with your colleagues to accomplish the mission so that you can all go home, return to your corners. Right? So yeah, it was, I feel that it was an extreme identification with my brethren over there. Like I didn't always like them, just like you don't always like your family, but I was in logistics. I supported them, and I was really good at my job, and even more so, I loved my job.
Right.
To be there for my unit, to be there for my commander, to be there for my superiors. It's just in my nature to be there. And the feedback, like, yo, man, thanks. You got me this, you got me that. Yo, you hooked me up.
Mm-hmm.
I fed off of that, and hence I developed a bond based off of that relationship. I'm supporting you, but you're also, you know, you're serving a higher purpose, something that's bigger than both you and me.
Most definitely. Most definitely. What type of things you saw over there? And now, when I say that, I don't want to. You don't have to say anything that's incriminating to you or the government, because I know you still, even though you're not a part of it, you're still a part of it forever. So what I'm saying is, you could tell me some of the beautiful things you saw over there. You could tell me a story. You could tell me whatever you want to, but tell me something about over there so I can understand how it is to be over there.
Wow.
In fact, have you ever written something about being over there?
Vaguely.
Okay. Okay.
I've only touched on it, but not
in detail.
Something. Yeah, nothing specific. Because quite honestly, after going over there the second time and experiencing what I experienced, not all of it was bad. There were some good parts. It did make me appreciate life a little bit more, but I just wanted that to be.
You wanted that to be the omega.
I wanted that to die. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there were like, okay, for example, like the scenery, right? What the media portrays is the cities, but when you're going into the natural parts of the country, you see these valleys and these mountains, and you see a little bit of desert, right? But it has a certain beauty to it.
Okay.
There's something very almost ancient about it. Almost, right? Like I can see why there's this sort of holy image painted on their land, how they view their land, kind of like how Africans are to the African motherland, right? There's a certain beauty about it, and if you just look at it and you're not thinking, you kind of see it. So the landscaping, at least certain aspects, were beautiful. The cities, man, I just remember thinking, dang, it is crummy over here. We really fucked them up.
Right.
How are y'all still here? I remember the people. I remember hearing the language. Arabic, when you listen to it, at least when I listen to it, it sounds beautiful. But at the time, because I was conditioned, I didn't really appreciate it. But I did tune in, like, oh, this is different. Being on the FOBs, being on the camps, y'all would call them camps, we call them FOB, forward operation bases. Certain ones kind of have this sort of privilege, I guess you could say, like some of them are more developed than others. So you have some that are just really rugged, it's just nothing but tents, and you're getting hot chow, or you might be fortunate to get hot chow. But then you have others where you get some real hot meals, and they got like MWRs, that's morale, wellness. Dang, it's been such a long time. But basically, they're it's for morale. It's recreation, recreation centers where you can watch theaters, play video games. They found creative ways to bring some of our advancements over here to make soldiers comfortable. So there's a little bit of that in there. There's a culture over there. But outside of that, I did see death. I did see a lot of chaos when I didn't have to. I didn't have to. I chose to. I'm the supply guy. We're not supposed to see any action. And I did. But I did that because when we lost a few of our comrades, again, it was that attachment. And my ego kind of got the best of me. But in a way, my heart also, but more so my ego. I felt obligated to sort of offer myself, to offer my life, to make sure that whoever went in this vehicle, that they had enough manpower to, come back. Because my thing is, we can't keep losing more. So war will make you do that. If you're on this one type, if you're in this side and you really care about the cause, but even more so the people that you're working with or collaborating with, that you're connected with, you're willing to live and die, not just die. You're willing to live for them as well. So with that comes the cost or the risk of seeing dismembered bodies, or even seeing the ugly in your peers.
Right.
You might see them doing things that they normally wouldn't do.
All right, then let's rewind it, all right? And I want to revisit what we was talking about earlier about marriage. The way you explained that, that's how I look at marriage.
Ooh. All right, so that's why you said it's you and her against the world. It's a war. Huh?
Yeah. Sometimes it's a war within her for me to help her beat herself. Sometimes it's a war within me to help me beat myself. And then there's sometimes it's us warring with each other. And sometimes it's the world trying to beat us up. But no matter what, like you just said, we got each other back. That's what, the way you just explained it, that's how I be looking at marriage. Now, I might be wrong for thinking that way, but that's just how my perspective said.
Yeah, that's an honorable way of looking at it, though.
Yeah.
You guys are together. If you don't have my back, who has my back?
Exactly. Let me ask you something different. Something different yet the same. Who were you before you went to the war? Break that guy down.
Ooh.
Let's go all the way back. First of all, where were you born?
I was born in Oceanside, California.
Oh, okay.
Cali.
So how long
Cali-born, Cali-born, Georgia raised.
How long was you in Cali?
For about 4 or 5 years.
You don't remember that? Not really. So tell me about you say Georgia raised, right?
Yeah.
Explain what part of Georgia you come from and make us feel like we was raised with you. Tell us about that experience.
Jeez. All right.
Because I want to know about you before everything else. Because see, we went to the middle.
Yeah.
Now we're coming back to the beginning.
Whoa. All right. So being in Georgia, we started off in Albany, Georgia.
Okay.
And then we migrated. That was like 92. I was in 2nd grade. Then we migrated towards Moultrie, Georgia. And I didn't like being in Georgia. I miss California. The beach. It's just a certain vibe about California. So already I didn't really want to be there in any part of Georgia. So Georgia becomes an acquired taste over time. We started off in a trailer park called Regency Village, and came from a humble background. Stepdad was working class, mom was working class. Actually, for a while, she wasn't even working. She was just a homemaker, and stepdad was working. And we had very simple luxuries. John was a introverted kid, very much to himself. I have 4 siblings. One of them passed away a few years ago, but there was 5 of us.
My condolences.
Yeah. Thank you. I would say I had a happy childhood. Overall, the overall theme. Very optimistic kid. Very sprite. Very smart. Imaginative. Creative. I used to even believe that I had superpowers.
Pause.
Right.
When you said Sprite, what do Sprite mean?
Sprite is like jovial, or kind of like fairies. You know how like the fairies like
Yeah.
happy. You know.
Oh, okay. My youngest son like that.
Yeah.
I was like that when I was. I believe all of us like that when we were younger.
Yeah, it's
but the world will try to dim your fucking light, boy. It will snatch the ring and snatch the wings off your fucking back.
Your soul is mine.
For real. But finish saying what you were saying.
Yeah, Sprite, optimistic.
Can I pause you? I want the reason why I stopped you and asked you questions like what do that word mean, because I want people to know when you're talking to people, it's okay to say I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay to say I don't know what the fuck you mean. Can you give me a background behind that?
That's
because
the
a lot of
gospel.
times when we doing contracts or we dealing with when we at work or we ready to sign some paperwork, we we just go through it and we just be like, well, I want to be embarrassed by asking a question. But no, you embarrass yourself by signing some shit or acting like you know some shit you don't know. But go ahead, finish, brother.
Sprite, optimistic, intelligent, sensitive, self-aware, hopeful. That kind of goes in with optimistic.
So basically, to me, when you saying that those words you're saying to me, you're just saying you was a full human when you was younger.
I like that.
You know what I mean? And as you get older, you become more robotic.
Ooh, I did.
We all do, unknowingly.
Yeah.
We all do.
I did.
We all
My
do.
20s was like that.
Yeah.
My 20s, and then start shaking off the machinery, or at least becoming aware of the machinery and trying to gain control of it, fine tune it. Yeah. But humble beginnings, though. It wasn't like we were poor. We did experience poverty, but it wasn't that struggle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We were at a good place because we had Sega Genesis. We had. Did we get the Nintendo? No, we didn't get the Nintendo until later. The 64 was later. But we had games. We had really good Christmases. We did do the hand-me-downs. Southern living. Getting acclimated to Southern living. I still sound like this, right? I used to get made fun of for speaking proper. I was picked on quite a bit, but it didn't really faze me because I don't know if it was arrogance or if it was innocence, but it was, this is just how I talk, or this is what we're doing. All right, man, this is how y'all move over here. All right, cool. Had a few friends, mainly neighbors, but we were all in the struggle together. John was also a pervert at a young age, though, too. So, gentleman, perv, and a gentleman perv. Like, it's just layers.
Right.
Inside the perv is a gentleman, inside the gentleman is a perv. Yeah, that was there at an early age. Yeah, very playful. Inside and out. I used to watch like when Power Rangers came out, kung fu movies.
I love kung fu movies.
Man, martial arts.
Yeah,
I wanted that so bad. But like I said, it kind of goes back to, I always felt like I was I had superpowers. I always felt like I was superhuman.
Right.
You know, and even like I was talking about with PTSD, you have nightmares, or even you don't even remember your dreams. Back then, I could remember all my dreams, and I even had a lot of deja vu experiences to where I would dream something, and then later on in life, I would, experience that. So there was a sense of, okay, whatever this is, there's more to it, right? We didn't go to church heavily, but we were raised Christian. My mom was deeply religious, but it wasn't one of those, it wasn't like the conventional Southern mom. She wasn't, she had a spirituality with it.
Great. Go deeper with your mom. What type of person she was?
My mom.
Oh, let me say this.
Is.
Was and see, when I was saying was, I'm speaking about from when you was younger. Yeah.
She's essential. She's a very constant factor in terms of her development. Her core personality is, she's a true Cancer, just like I am. Right. So Cancer gang, and that's probably one of, aside from just the mother-son relationship and me being the firstborn, her being a Cancer and I being a Cancer, those were some very strong features, strong characteristics. So I know it's zodiac theory, but she was very, when you think of a typical Cancer, you think of her. Very nurturing, very intuitive, very creative, intelligent, graceful, beautiful, soft-spoken. I'll even go as far as to say self-sacrificing, right? That unconditional love, that true mother archetype, the Isis, if you're into, Egyptology, that true Isis.
That's what I believe marriage is. Add that to marriage. Add what you said earlier in this, and that's how marriage should be.
The love.
Because the only person I can Like when you get raised by a good mother, honestly, in your mind, it's like no woman can compete with that because your mother, she just sacrificed that, the
She
sacrifice.
sets the
You know what
standard
I mean?
too.
And let me make sure I'm clear on something because you know there's some woman out there playing devil's advocate with my words, so I want to be clear. A man should be that for a woman also.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So let's not make it a one-way thing. It's on both ends. You know, marriage is reciprocal. It's not one way.
Yes.
Reciprocal. I ain't mean to do it, but it's there. You know what I mean? But finish. Finish. Tell me about your mother, and then I want to go into your stepfather because you brought him up also. That means
All right.
that if you brought him up, that means he's a good dude. I want you to bring him up and break down. Tell me some of the values your mother put into you also before you go into your
Love
stepfather.
is at the top.
Okay.
Love is at the top. Personal responsibility, personal accountability, cleanliness, orderliness, organization, work ethic. A sense of I was gonna say common unity, but community is the same thing. Common unity, community. But love was at the top. I could, break them all down, but love, that was the biggest one.
Love is everything. It brings everything. Everything is under the umbrella of love.
Mm-hmm. Different expressions of love. Yeah. And I've been saying this recently, even to a friend of mine, that even though some of us don't inherit this financial wealth, some of us are blessed beyond measure to inherit a spiritual wealth, and that's the love. So I inherited that. So even in my romantic exploits, in everything I do, but in my romantic exploits, there's this passionate, very creative and bouncy and light and deep, profound love. And I get that from my mom. Right? So I inherited that. To me, that's a spiritual wealth. And I'm just trying to pass that on down. So she did that much for me. She gave me that. She did it with action, but she also did it in how she spoke, how she carried herself. She lived, I guess you could say in simple means, because she was a homemaker, and then she became a laborer she was working as a seamstress for years, just working with her hands. Yeah, it's inspiring.
Most definitely.
Just to see that, like, you don't have to make this much or have this social status, but to have that love and to feel that, it's like, all right, this is the standard. Anything less than that, if I'm coming across a woman and it's anything less than that, I don't want it.
Yeah, and then it's just that when you give your kids real love, you show them. I think this is what you're saying. If I'm wrong, correct me. You show them that nothing can fuck with that shit.
Ooh,
Me and my son, I was telling my son, my oldest son, I was telling him, I was like, yo, he was talking about he want to be a millionaire, he want to be a millionaire. I said, yo, you already have everything you want, you just don't know it. I said, let me ask you this. If somebody told you they give you $10 million, but you can't have your father, what would you do? He said, I wouldn't take it. I said, that shows you right there. When you think about your father, your mother, your friends, your family, you have everything you already want. But the system manipulates you to make you feel like you need more. Yeah, we want more, but you don't need more. That's what your mother was giving you. Yeah. She was giving you the real shit. Real shit, love is the real shit.
The land of excess, and yet you're in this sort of landless abundance.
Most definitely. Yeah. Most definitely. What about your stepfather?
Stepfather. Pisces, which is kind of why I can understand why my mom and him kind of connected. Very hard worker. Very industrious. He had his own way of being creative, but he has some psychological problems of his own.
Right. Was he in the
Oh, he wasn't. No.
Okay.
But he was just a laborer. I can't really remember the story of how my mom got introduced, but it was like through my uncle. They had an association, but I didn't like him. But I respected him because I understood, all right, all of this is because you're doing this. So it's that protector, provider, and then it's like, that's it. A lot of alcohol, a lot of weed, a lot of cigarettes. So toxicity was definitely there.
Right.
And
did you didn't like him, or you didn't like the things he was doing?
That too. That too, but I mean, the things it was doing is part of who he was.
Most definitely. It's your
Uh,
makeup. It's the makeup of who you.
yeah, so I can't
Separate it.
I can separate it. I could say I didn't like these things that he did, but even still, liking is just an opinion, right? So I may not like him as a whole person, but I respected him as a person as well.
Okay, let me ask you this: how long was she your stepfather? I mean, like,
man, I guess about maybe what 10 years.
okay.
Just throwing that out there.
Oh,
Yes.
let me ask you something different. Then, what did he teach you? Whether directly or indirectly.
How to respect women, and he taught me that indirectly, not by virtue of he
Put his hands on your mother and he did crazy shit like that.
He actually did.
Okay.
But my mom had a history of dealing with men like that. It just seemed like she attracted those kind of men.
Okay, not your mom, but let's just do this. This is in general.
Yes.
What is it in women that attract men like that?
Ooh.
Not your mother. We're not talking about your mother now. Your mother off the table, your stuff off the table. Cause what we want to break that down. Let's me and you break that down as a.
All right. So I think with certain men. All right. So in terms of how relationships go, in terms of the beginning, the middle, and the end, theory of mine is you have those who are really good at getting the women.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are really good at maintaining the relationship, maintaining that woman, and those who are good at terminating the relationship. So with a lot of toxic men,
I like that. I like that breakdown.
Right?
That's a good breakdown. That's a good breakdown.
And you can be, strong in one and weak in the other two, or strong in all three, right? Some men, especially toxic men, are good at